Today I'm back with a new series called Artist Spotlight, where we'll take a look at the art of one of the important artists from the early days of TSR. Today's video features the art of Jeff Dee. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm AZ Mountaineer, and this is our channel, Old School Rules, where we celebrate the community of old school gamers and grognards who like classic RPGs, miniatures, magazines, and everything that goes with it. The Artist Spotlight series takes a look at all the great art produced by a particular artist from the early days of TSR, and today we're starting off with Jeff Dee, one of the core four from those early days of TSR. Please stick around. So one of the things I really love about the early days of TSR was all the great art that really fueled our imagination. So I wanted to do an Artist Spotlight series that will take a look at all the great art of a particular artist. Just decided to start with Jeff Dee. He's one of my favorites. Jeff's one of those, I call it the core four. So sort of, Sutherland, Trompier really are artists from the very beginning. And of course there's some artists that were there even before them, like Greg Bell and a couple others. But then you get in this era where they were super productive, right around 1980 to 1984. And Jeff Dee, Errol Otis, Jim Rosloff, and Bill Willingham really did a lot of the art that we all know and love. So I'm going to start today, as I mentioned, with some of Jeff's art. Jeff Dee's art really shows up in a few different places. I feel the Moldvay Cook box editions, so the BX rules, some people call it. In Deities and Demigods, he's got lots of important art in there, and then modules. And so he's got these covers, I think, which all of us probably recognize. But in addition to that, Jeff's got art inside all of these different modules from that early era. So let's start off by taking a look at the rule books. Pretty famous, iconic picture of Morgan Ironwolf and a couple of others. And now we move into the stuff that's in the expert, right? He's got the Wizard's Eye spell, the Pass Wall spell, and then just a party of characters down here, as well as in the expert set rules back in some of the monsters, hydras, cockatrices. I think it's just a giant octopus down there. Deities and Demigods is probably one of the places where Jeff's art, I really became a huge fan of Jeff's art. He has several pantheons in which his art features prominently. Here are the Arthurian legends, and he's got all the knights of the Round Table, Merlin, Morgana, Lancelot, and others. Just fantastic art. Central American, Chinese as well. He made a couple of entries. And then the Egyptians. He did almost all the art for the Egyptian pantheon. Just fantastic art. I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time looking at the Deities and Demigods book and all the fantastic art that was in there from these core four artists and others. Some entries in the Indian mythos, Japanese mythos, and then if you had one of the earliest editions with the Melnibonian, he did pretty much all the art in there for the Morlock series, which was particularly interesting for me. I'd never read those books. To see all this really amazing art really brought that to life for me. Here's the New One series. So this is Fritz Lieber's Grey Mouser series. He did some art for that as well. He gave us Garl Glitterstone and three others of the non-human deities, right? And so you've got, as I mentioned, you got Garl Glittergold, Malguliet, who's the deity for the goblins, Grumsh, who's a deity for the orcs, and Scorius Stonebones, the deity for the stone giants. He also did most of the Norse pantheon art. So again, some of those really iconic characters like Thor and Freya and Heimdall. And then some really good scene art here, and here Loki escaping from Thor, and of course this picture for Thor himself. And then the modules, probably the thing that's even more than these demigods that I really loved about Jeff's early art. As you know, he did several covers. So here's A1. He did actually the front and the back cover of the first Slavers module. He did a A3's front cover. He did the rear cover for B3 and C2 and D3. And that D series were just fantastic, and so his art is really highlighted there. He also did the front covers to S1 and S2, the extremely iconic Tomb of Horrors and White Plume Mountain. And then he did the front and back cover for T1, The Village of Hamlet, the second printing once they went from the monos to the color covers. Did the front cover to X1 and the rear cover to Q1, which was another really famous one. And as I mentioned, in addition to those covers, he did a lot of interior art. So here we've got interior art from B2's Keep at the Borderlands, and then the D1, D2 series. And here's a full page art from D3. And then we get back into when they reprint the Giant series G1 SG123 combined module. You get some art from him, and then the fizzled wand there at the bottom, that's from Q1. And they did a number of interior illustrations for the module that came in the Cook box set for the Expert Rules, right? The Isle of Dread. In addition, he did a few pictures in Fiend Folio, and you've got this dead giant. This was in the sort of the introductory section, and then one of the earliest monsters in there called the Aarakocra. And then he has an illustration as well in the Monster and Treasure assortment. That was a combined accessory from TSR. That's it, just sort of a highlight of some of Jeff's art. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm looking forward to doing some other ones for all the other great artists from the early days. The art is really what made it come alive for me back in the day. And I still remember these images with a lot of fondness here several decades later. That's it for the first one. Again, if you're liking the video, feel free to subscribe. If you have friends who might like our content, we hope you'll ask them to subscribe as well. And until next time, my friends, keep rolling 20s.